Hi, Kitchen Kings and Queens. Today we're going to make a Chinese dish called salt and pepper pork. Usually, this dish is made with shrimp, salt and pepper shrimp. You can use any type of protein for this. I was curious about this because I think pork would actually go really well with this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to marinate the pork first. But before we do that, we have to prepare the pork. For the marinade, I already prepared that just so that it's ready. In this bowl, there is a tablespoon of mirin, which is actually a Japanese ingredient. So if you want to keep this more authentically Chinese, you could use Shaoxing wine, which is really good. And it's a lot drier and a lot less sweet. So mirin is a little sweeter, so it's going to give it a little different flavor. I'm also going to add into that just a couple of Szechuan peppercorns, and I'm going to crush them. Again, this is not a traditional ingredient for this dish. It is a traditionally Chinese ingredient in the Sichuan region and Sichuan cuisine, but it just adds a little numbing texture. I'm also, when I stir fry it, I'm going to stir fry with these dried red peppers. I wanted to get the bird's eye, the fresh chilies, and use them, but I couldn't find them at the local store, and I didn't want to go out of my way to an Asian market. So these will impart the heat. They won't impart the little burst of heat that the bird's eye chilies would, because you don't really eat these. They just kind of impart their flavor, and you're supposed to put them off to the side rather than eat them as part of the dish. Okay, so that's a tablespoon of Shaoxing or mirin in this case. So that's going to give it a little sweetness. A tablespoon of soy sauce. There is baking soda. So there is a half a teaspoon of baking soda. There is a half a teaspoon of salt. In this case, I'm using kosher salt. There's a quarter of a cup of black pepper. I need more for when we prepare the sauce, but I needed just some for the marinade. And then an eighth of a teaspoon of white pepper. Okay, so that's our marinade. That's what's in here. And a couple crushed. Um, oh, yes. Yeah, I said the baking soda. And a couple crushed Sichuan peppercorns. Okay, so we're going to use pork, and we're going to use a pork. Um, this is these are actually pork chops, and these are the end cut of the pork chop. So we're going to tenderize them, then we're going to cut them up into little pieces. Okay, and the tenderizing, what we're going to use is this, which is a Chinese cleaver. Actual Chinese cleaver from China is maybe even a little thinner than this, and it's going to be made with carbon steel. This is made by Zwilling, so it's made with their steel, but it's going to do a great job. And this is a really important tool to have if you like doing really Asian cuisine, but primarily Chinese cuisine. The Chinese invented this. And one of the reasons why I like Chinese cuisine is because the Chinese chef thinks, in my opinion, and I think most people that know global food would say that the Chinese are the most thoughtful in terms of culinary experience. So, not just the flavor of the food, not just the presentation of the food, they are concerned with the mouthfeel, with the texture of the food, with the size of the food. So you're going to see, we're going to take these and we're going to cut it down into bite-sized pieces so that you don't need to chew or cut or need a knife. That's why Chinese cuisine is traditionally eaten with chopsticks because the chopsticks are all you should need to eat Chinese food. So that's what we're going to do here. And that's why I really, plus the flavors. I mean, the Chinese are masters of flavor, they're masters of cooking techniques. So it's really an enjoyable cuisine to eat. Okay, so we're going to tenderize it by using the flat side. So again, see, even the tools that they developed are used in multi ways. Okay, so this knife you can cut like this. You can use it if you watch videos of master Chinese chefs. They can peel things with this. They can make garnishes. So this is a whole another set of knife skills as opposed to a traditional European style knife. Okay, so we're just gonna cut this up into little pieces. And you can see the blade is very heavy, okay? And the edge is extremely sharp. So it really doesn't require all that much effort for me, okay, to do this. And it's gonna, I'm gonna keep cutting it up, and then I'm gonna cut this into more bite-sized pieces, okay? So that way we get some really nice pieces of pork to use. And I was so excited when I saw this at the grocery outlet. There was the pork chops were on sale, and they had the $2 off coupons. So it really became a bargain to make this. And beef right now is very expensive. So pork was a little bit more reasonably priced, and it really allowed me to make this dish that I've been wanting to try. We went for my dad's birthday to this really great restaurant that opened fairly recently in our area. It's called Mama Chang's. It's in Colmar, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. And the chef is also a chef in the DC area. And that restaurant is exceptionally good. They have a really good dim sum breakfast or brunch on the weekends that allows you to kind of do like a tasting. There is uh, just a really great array of recipes, and it's authentic and it's feeding. There's a pretty significant Chinese population, suburban Chinese population there. So it's nice to have that option if you want really good Chinese food, but you don't want to go downtown or you want something a little closer. Reason why it's called Mama Chang's is because it's an homage to the mothers in his life, his wife, his mother, his grandmother. So a lot of it is, you know, kind of celebrating the women in his life and the recipe contributions that they uh, provide. And let's be honest, oftentimes the matriarchs of a family are the ones that have the most significant impact culinarily on our lives. So I really like that because I learned to cook from my grandmothers, and my mother. So that's something that really resonated with me. So I'm just cutting up some of the bigger pieces, and but it looks like we're pretty good here. Now I just opened this. I have bought this about a year or so ago, and so this is my first time using this Chinese cleaver. I think I've had one in the past, but I'm new to using this knife, but I like it. So here's another good thing. You can use the blade. It has a very sharp edge, and you could use it as a food mover. So it's just uh, multimodal for using as a cooking device. I really enjoy it. It's very heavy, so it's great. Okay, so I'm gonna clear this out. So we're pretty much done with the rawness. So I'm gonna take the marinade, which doesn't look like it's very much, but we're gonna take that and we're gonna pour it over, and then we're just gonna toss it together. Now, I'm actually gonna use a pair of chopsticks to do this because chopsticks are an eating device, but they're also a kitchen tool. So in a Chinese kitchen, oftentimes the chopsticks will be used in the kitchen as well. And the kitchen or the in a Chinese kitchen, there's also another set of chopsticks, which I have here, and maybe I'll use them when we actually cook. These chopsticks, you can see, are much larger. These are wok chopsticks. So these are to be used in the wok as you're cooking. So these were a cool find that I found recently. So maybe I'll use them when we're cooking. All right, so we need to let this marinate for 15 minutes and then we'll be back. I'll see you in just a couple. Hey, Kitchen Kings and Queens. So I prepared the vegetables, which I'm going to move over next to the stove because when we are done frying this, we're going to have to fry this. Now, you can air fry this, and that is a much healthier alternative. I am going to do it the traditional way just because it's a little treat for me. So I just want to really get the full effect. But a much healthier and just as good way would be to air fry this. Okay, so before we fry it, and let me turn on the oil, and we're gonna fry it, deep fry it in a wok. I blended up 1 egg, and I'm gonna put that in with our marinated pork. Okay, to make sure I get all that egg out, I'm just gonna put it in here. Okay, it smells really good. Okay, we're going to use these tongs, but I'm just going to use my chopsticks here to just make sure we coat all of this in the egg. And we're using a very neat coating on this. We're going to be using cornstarch. So I took the cornstarch and I laid it out on this tray. You know, my trays, I love my Vollrath stainless steel trays. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take pieces at a time. You don't want to crowd this. We're not going to crowd the pan, the frying, or the wok either, because that just, it doesn't get you the results that you want. Okay? So we're just going to toss this around in there to get it coated. Shake it off. And put it on there. Okay? And this irregular coating is going to result in just really great texture. You're going to get some texture that is lighter, some that's meatier, some that's crispier. So it really does give a neat contrast of textures. with this kind of a coating. Okay, so just gonna do that. Okay, roll it around. I just want to make sure it's all loose here. I'm going to put that one back in a little bit more just so that it doesn't stick. Okay, maybe there we go. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing that. I could put a little bit more here. Just going to kind of spread it out. And then just keep going. And while that's going, I'm going to heat up the oil. Now, I used this oil earlier to fry some other things. So your oil will probably be a lot clearer if you choose to deep fry it. Mine has some particles from an earlier frying. So don't be distraught by that. And the wok that I'm using is an aluminum wok, which is my first time actually cooking in an aluminum wok. Aluminum woks are used a lot in Thai cuisine, I believe. They use those kind of woks. So it's going to be a neat experience because aluminum is a really good conductor of heat. Uh, carbon steel is as well, but aluminum is a little lighter. It's a little, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. Okay. So I may need to add some more cornstarch here. It's actually working pretty good. So then I'm gonna spread this out, and I'll just do the rest in there. And then we'll check the oil, and then we'll move over to the wok and the fryer. Okay, because well, the wok is the fryer, but in this case, we're using it as a fryer. But afterwards, we're going to be doing the actual stir frying. And then to go with this, I'm just going to make a very simple egg fried rice. So we'll also make that in there as well. Okay. And I think I'm going to get my hands in there because I think I'll be able to coat this and separate it a little bit better if I do. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. And you want to make sure that your pieces are separated because when you're frying, you don't want them to bunch together and not get cooked. You want everything to be cooked evenly and crispy. So that's also why we're not going to we're going to do this in batches as well. Okay. Just check the oil. Okay, I think we're ready to fry. Make sure all these pieces are done. And I'm going to have some paper towels here. So as this becomes done, we could just transfer it. So let's go over the wok. Okay, so we are going to start our frying. Okay. Like I said, we're just going to do this in little batches. Oh, it's frying so nicely. We're going to use this device, which is called a spider, to remove our pork. So that's what we're looking like here. So it's really coming together well. Like, they almost feel like they're lighter than when they went in. That's what this cornstarch coating does to the meat. Now, this is a very intimidating thing to fry in a big, open, shallow frying pan like this. So, if I would really recommend that you use the air fryer. It's safer. You're probably going to be more comfortable with it. So do what you're comfortable with. Frying is really scary. I had a really traumatic experience frying when I had my cafe. I had poured some French fries into the deep fryer, and it was the bottom of the bag, and there was all of this ice in there, and the oil bubbled up. It was violently frying, and fortunately, I was just able to get to the control knob before the oil went over, and I could have gotten seriously burned, and that was not a fun experience. It was a very scary experience, and you can really seriously injure yourself and deform yourself by getting fry burns. Okay, so just be careful. If you're comfortable, You can do this if you're not. Play it safe and use the air fryer. Yum, yum, yum. I just tried a piece of this pork, and it is super tasty. I can't wait till we put the sauce on. And the other great thing about Chinese cooking is things cook very fast. You don't need to wait too long. There was a lot of prep involved, but it's really not very much cooking. It's quick, or very long cooking. It's very quick. The food itself cooks quickly, and everything comes together really well. Okay, I think probably one more batch will do. So this is coming out really well. The other thing is whenever you're frying, throw things away from you, not towards you. Okay, that's a really important technique in frying. You want to push it away from you in case it does splash. And it does splash. Um, this is really good because the cornstarch absorbs a lot of the oil. That's why it gets or the oil, the moisture of the meat. That's why it gets so crispy um, because of that coating. So it also cuts down on the splatter from like a more wet fry. Because what makes things splatter is when there is moisture in there. So you could see with this batch, I put a little bit more in. Um, I think we're good doing that. So we're doing this, it's like 4 batches we got here. And the nice thing with this coating is it's not very oily. With like a breaded coating, a lot of times you get a lot of oil absorption. There's really not very much absorption. There's not very much absorbed oil. So it gives you a nice crispy crunch and a nice texture, but not all that grease. So we're down to our last batch here, and then we can prepare the sauce. All right. So we'll just let this go. And then we're going to empty this oil and we're going to prepare the sauce and the dish, actually. And then we'll go and do the fried rice as well. And we're going to do it in the same wok. We'll just clean it out in between each. Okay, we are back. We cleaned out the wok. We're going to turn back on the flame. We're going to put in about a tablespoon of oil there. And then we're going to add the vegetables. We're going to cook them real quick until they're fragrant. Then we're going to throw it back in our chicken, or I'm sorry, our pork. And then we're going to add in some Szechuan chili peppers. I'm going to add in these bird's eye chilies. Okay. I'm just going to toss them around a little bit just to get them to release their oil. Then we're going to add our vegetables. Okay. So for our vegetables, we're going to add 1 jalapeno. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 jalapenos. We're going to add about a half a cup of onion and some garlic. Okay. So those are our vegetables. Okay, we're just going to toss them around, get them fragrant. Then we're going to toss in our pork. Ooh, yum. And some green onion. I forgot about that. Okay. Okay. And we're going to use a little spatula here just to toss this all through. And then finally, we're going to add our seasoning, which is salt, pepper, and black pepper and white pepper. So I'm going to sprinkle that around, give it a toss. And each additional thing adds a little bit more flavor to this dish. It just makes it a different flavor and texture. Okay. All right. So that's that. We'll come back and we'll do the fried rice. Okay, I don't know if my camera shut off or if I shut it off or what, but I don't know how much of this fried rice went in there. But okay, well, we're pretty much done. So we're going to take off the heat. And just to kind of give it a little unctuousness, we're just going to add in a little bit of butter. Okay? You don't have to do this. In fact, you probably shouldn't do this. But man, does this just kind of give it a extra special flavor. Just glosses the sauce, as they say. And this is really good butter. It's a French butter, but it's made in Lancaster. It's called Pepisaya. It's a French company, and they opened a plant here in Lancaster. So, okay. So we're going to just pop that on there. And we are done. So let's go back and take a look at what we made here. Okay, Kitchen Kings and Queens, we are done. And we created a lovely dish and a lovely accompaniment. The only thing this is missing is a delicious vegetable. So here's our pork. It is really, it's tender, it's bursting with flavor. Very good. Highly recommend that. Then we have some of our fried rice here. Also really good. Very much more simple, so it'll be a great accompaniment to this really unctuous, flavorful dish. I hope you try this because this is really delicious. All right, bye for now, Kitchen Kings and Queens.